think that has to do with every one of my skates. The more that I have my hands on it, the worse it looks. Ah, pee all over me. Don't bite. So in the last video, we caught all the archer fish out of the 2,000 gallon because we're going to be setting up an Asian themed tank with these guys so they can, I really want to get them to spit at a target on demand, because I think it would be absolutely fascinating and I think you guys would absolutely love it. Plus, I think we can do them far more justice. The 2,000 gallon, simply put, is more like a South American themed aquarium. They don't really fit in here that well. So the plan is, of course, to set their tank up. I'm going to be rescaping this aquarium today. I'm going to make it more sense for the fish that are actually in there. And then if we have time, because I still got to fill this back up, because I had to drain it to be able to move the archers and be able to find them. But if we have time, which we might not, we're going to take all of these guys. Just to start, all of these ones, there's like 200 tetras in here, and festivums, and discus. This is kind of laying down there a little peed off that I keep bugging around with them. I might try the Anubias in that tank. I would love for the bottom of that tree to be just like exploding in Anubias, but I just don't think it's going to be possible. I think that the Walrus are simply going to eat it. And I don't want to have to keep buying plants because it's getting really expensive. With that said, once this like 200, 300 fish, however many's in there, I don't even remember, we have another, I think it's like 100 tetras under here. I don't want to show too much because there's other things I'm working on in here. I think there's like another 100 tetras. We got like 50 Corydora. There's a ton of fish. We unboxed those 4 months ago and they've been in quarantine ever since. It's time we get them into the 2,000 like they were meant to be. Man, I can't stop watching the Oscars. They're so awesome. They're so cool. Everybody's doing so good. And Tyrese is such a friendly little puffer now. He's so outgoing and not shy at all. Kevin, on the other hand, is an absolute nightmare. All right. First things first, I'm going to jump in here and start. It's not going to be a massive overhaul. It's not going to be a huge rescape. I'm just going to try to create a space that makes more sense for the fish that are actually in here. One of the things I want to do, though, if I can find it, give the inside of the acrylic viewing panel a good scrub for the first time in a long time. So, if we do this right, and we make this tank look really good, I think that we'll have the best, biggest community aquarium on YouTube. And hopefully it gets lots of views because that's kind of what inspires other channels and other people to kind of mimic this sort of thing. And I would love to see these monster-sized aquariums keep monster-sized community fish. And I'm talking stuff like this, tetras and whatnot. You rarely see it, but it's so, so cool. And what that's going to do is a lot of it's going to stop the average hobbyist from going out and buying a red-tailed catfish and throwing it in their tank because they saw their favorite YouTuber with one. Or getting a giant gourami or something like that. So I'm trying to be a little more responsible with this aquarium. Even though when I had the red-tailed catfish, the whole purpose of that was to show you how big they grow, how fast they get there, and if you must keep one, I showed you how to build an indoor pond. But long term was no intentions on keeping it on this channel because unfortunately too many hobbyists like to mimic the fish that I have. And I can't blame you because a lot of them are super cool, but most people don't have a 2,000 gallon tank sitting around. But what you do have is a 50 gallon tank or a 20 gallon tank or a 100 gallon tank. In fact, what size aquarium do you have in the comments section below? If you don't feel like commenting, like one of the comments that does have your size. I'd love to see what the average size aquarium is in the comment section below. Because I have a feeling that not many people have a tank that's over like 200 gallons type of thing. There'll be some, but not a lot. The single most curious fish that I've ever come across that will not leave me alone is the common tiger barb. They keep nipping at me, they keep biting me. So these are not real logs, but as you can see, the longer you have them, the more real they look, even though they look pretty darn real in the first place. Get some algae on them and whatnot, some detritus, that sort of thing. They just look absolutely phenomenal. Those are from aquadecorbackgrounds.com, and they made them like 4 years ago or 3 years ago. All I'm trying to do is collect all the rocks and whatnot off the bottom just to give myself a fresh start. While staying away from the sunshine pleco. See him right there? He puts up that back spine, I'm getting stabbed. He's the only thing that I gotta worry about in here. Everybody else, as you can see, gets away from me, leaves me alone. Besides tiger barbs, they're literally just eating me. Just nipping at me. They're like the doctor fish, the Gara rufa, which if you have a bunch of them, you put your feet in the tank, they eat off the dead skin type of thing. I feel like tiger barbs are pretty darn close to doing the same thing. Pee all over me. Too many rocks in here. At this point, I can barely see into the tank. I feel like I got all the rocks though. Oh, this is like my hack to moving substrate. Lots of it. I just brush it like this. I don't need a ton of sand underneath of this, nor behind it. I'd rather have most of it in front of it. This tank's gonna be super cloudy. What I'm thinking here is, I was thinking about putting this more so into this corner and leaving it wide open so you can see everybody else. I think that's a great idea. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that.
Oh no, I need you to get me the top of this. I feel like right here looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to line this up a little bit better than I have been.
Yeah, because now you can see right through both viewing panels.
Yeah, that's what was bothering me about the last one, is it looked great. In fact, it looked fantastic. I mean, you couldn't beat this skate, but, or this, this entire setup, but you couldn't see it from every angle. I'd come over here, and I rarely even clean the glass, because what's the point? I never really look into that one anyway. But I never built this aquarium so you couldn't see into it. I can't see my feet anymore. I don't think it's a good idea to skate in the dark without being able to see anything. I think I'll let everything in here kind of settle, if it will, and come back to it. Unfortunately, with massive tanks like this, you kind of have to. I guess I could drain the water more, but I really don't want to be out here all night, 7 or 8 hours waiting for this to fill. The plan is to use all the rocks all around and like literally leave the rest wide open. Have some branches and that sort of thing kind of trailing along the sides and whatnot, but for the most part, keep this area wide open. I think it's a good idea, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna get out and let it settle down a little bit. I don't want to. I want to keep going. I love this. I love doing this. Do you think it needs to be closer to the wall?
Maybe like a little, but not too much. Not right in the corner.
Like there?
Yeah.
Alright. Took some water out. I had to. And it's cleared up a bit so that I can actually see the bottom of the tank, but this happens with this tank every time I do it. I mean, we've seen me try to escape this a number of times. Usually there's no fish in there, but there is now. Man, I'm not as agile as I once was. I feel like I'm only gonna fall in, slip and fall. Oh yeah, I can see my feet and everything. Okay, this is gonna be fine. So, we were talking about adding in that Anubias. The wall we're just gonna eat it, so back to fake plants. It's not that bad. It's better than nothing. But the Waru are going to eat them, so there's no point in putting anything real in here.
testing?
We're testing it or trying it. I mean, we've done that a number of times. I also think that the Walrus will end up laying eggs back there. I think that this tank's going to be totally different. I think the Corridora is going to come out now that the the apex predators are gone, which in this tank was the archers, which aren't really that much of a predator, but in comparison to what else was in this tank, they were number one by far. If it wasn't for the Walrus, I think I'd do a planted tank in here, but I just like the Walrus too much, and sometimes, you can't have the best of both worlds with certain fish. Of course, I want to add in some more fake plants and whatnot, make this look a little bit more natural and stuff, but I'm really hooked on the idea of keeping this end completely wide open. It's almost like a mangrove tree at this point. Don't bite. I changed my mind. I don't like tiger barbs so much.
It'll be a lot easier to see when it clears up.
It's okay to have branches that fell into the water. It doesn't. The more chaotic and the less clearly a human did this, in my opinion, the more natural it looks. So technically, I kind of am following the rule of thirds or whatever it's called, where you have the main feature, blah blah blah, and I do like to do my scapes from a corner and out. So I mean that kind of reminds me of like meh. But for everything else, if I put it in a place, it's usually done because the more and more I mess with it, the more and more contrived it looks, and the more effort and the less natural it becomes. The more input I have, the worse it looks. I think that has to do with every one of my scapes. The more that I have my hands on it, the worse it looks. So let me show you guys what I'm looking at and the reason why it looks the way it does. So if a fish were to swim just in open water, they're not as secure. But if they got a bunch of fallen logs underneath of them and like fake plants and whatnot, this is what I see. I'm not looking at it from this angle. I'm looking at it from down, what the fish are going to see when they're trying to swim above it. And the more that's below them, the more secure they're typically going to feel. So I think and I feel like I've done the right thing here. Maybe this one comes out a little bit more. Yeah, so they can swim under the logs, around them. That doesn't have to look like I said, the more you spend on your scape, the less natural it's going to look. And I am looking for more natural looking scapes as opposed to, like a scaping type competition, which I'm not good at it in the first place. I just don't like them, so it's hard for me to be good at it. But this type of stuff, I love doing this type of stuff. Okay, so very next day, filled the tank back up. Let's see how everybody's doing here. That's kind of weird. Archers are hiding, but I mean, we just turned the lights on. Last night they're all over the place. Today, they're kind of just lined up all over the back, hiding in the crevices and whatnot. Give them a few seconds, they'll come out. Literally just turn the lights on. So this, I gotta clean out here, so don't look at my mess. But wait for the water to clear. But I am in love with this. It's absolutely phenomenal. I love it. I do want to reposition a few of the like little branches and whatnot. Nothing too crazy, but I think the logs over there just piled up. I don't think they added too much. I think that I just positioned them wrong. I couldn't see. I mean, so I will move some of these around a little bit. I got a claw thing that I could do that with, no problem. Fish are just right over here. When I first came in though, the entire tank was covered in these like little bubbles, like as you can see right here. So I cleaned them off and they all scattered. That's all that's happened there. And then I started filming, but they were all out. Mind you, they have a massive area to hide. They do enjoy coming along here. All the Severums were actually over here earlier. But look, as soon as I just leave them alone, they all start coming out and moving around. All the Severums are already kind of coming around, and tank's cloudy of course, but obviously give this like 2-3 days, it'll clear up crystal clear. I'm thinking of turning it black water, but we'll see about that, see what you guys think. It does need more plants clearly. I'll see what we can do there, but this is what I'm loving right now. I actually haven't gotten a chance to look at it from this angle, but yeah, I can finally see the fish from every angle. Even it looks even better over here.
again, it's cloudy, so I know, and in person, I can get a full view of every angle as I'm sitting here, and then you guys just see whatever I'm pointing the camera at type of deal. But this thing is just absolutely gorgeous. All the fish are fine. Everybody made it out just okay. I don't believe the tree is too close into that corner, but we still have to add a whole lot of fish into that tank. Everybody in this tank, oh, Discus, some of them are over here now. Everybody's looking absolutely beautiful in here. There's a couple hundred fish in here, I believe, or at least 100, right? And then a couple hundred below in these quarantine tanks. But what's up, Tyrese? How's your buddies? Everybody's looking good. Oscars are always a little bit washed out as soon as you turn the lights on. Yeah, they darken up over time. Oh, piranhas are out. Wait till you see their tank. Wait till you see the idea that I have. It's gonna blow your mind when you see these guys tank. This tank's a little dirty. Still looks good though. It's the front toes out. Where's Big Daddy? Where's Big Daddy at, guys? He's in the back, isn't he? Is that you? Where are you? No. Where is he? You'll see him. He's like a... Oh, there he is. He's a monster. He's hiding back there. Yeah, he's huge. Yeah, and then the archers. Look, they're already kind of swimming out a little bit more. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this. I think this was a fantastic idea. One of the things I was thinking, like, when I add in these other fish, it's going to be far more active, and the tetras and whatnot will always swim in the open area. And then we'll have the corridor and whatnot as well. But in my opinion... Look, even though I only walked away from the tank for 2 minutes, the fish are already coming. Let me turn the ambient lights out and see if that'll look a little bit better. Just darken it up in here. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like that. That's perfect. Yeah, so the cameras play tricks with these videos and stuff, and I'm not, you would think that after as long as I've been doing YouTube videos, I'd be good at making the videos, and I'm just not. I've just never been interested in like filming. I just want to talk about fish and show fish and do stuff with my fish. Those Severums are gorgeous, aren't they? They're getting big too. The Walrua though, I mean, come on, that's a monster right there. Timmy's in there somewhere. He's one of the big guys now. Yeah, late bloomer is all he was. Man, I love this tank. Wait for it to clear up. Wait for me to finish this tank. And I'm going to let this clear up a little bit, or, reposition some of the logs and whatnot. And maybe later today or tomorrow, I'll go ahead and add in all the tetras. And I think that this tank is just going to completely look different. The fish are going to act different. Everything in it is going to act different. Look, now that I'm like not messing around in the tank, they're all coming out. At first, it was like, oh, great, they're all just going to stay over here. That was never the case in the first place. They always stayed out in the open. But look at the angels. Now wait until we get all those tetras in here. And they act like ditherfish. And add an even more calming effect. See, these are the bubbles that I was talking about. See all this? The whole cup thing was, when you do a massive water change, very common in highly oxygenated water. But, man, I just love it. Look, is that a pair over there? Yeah, this is a tank that maybe at one point we're just going to have to film like a 10-20 minute video of just like, once it's set up, just like kind of looking at it, focusing on the fish, that sort of thing. But this is beautiful. This is beautiful. I've never seen anything like this. Not in a home aquarium, and I'm so lucky and so blessed to have something like this. To be honest with you guys, I never could have imagined something like this. I imagined a big bare tank with my stingrays, and that's it. Well, I have them, but I thought it was going to be in here. Never in my lifetime did I expect I would do something like this. But I think like this is just an absolutely gorgeous aquarium. I wish it was a little more clear for today's video and whatnot, but again, I mean, we just filled this up last night. It took like 4 or 5 hours to fill back up. Shut the lights off, went to bed, and now I'm just waking up. So technically, it hasn't even had a whole day to clear up. Look at the Denisons. These guys are always active. Barbs are kind of sticking together over there. You see them? Yeah, there's just so much to look at in here. Oh, male, female. Boom. That's a pair. Those are the two that are always trying to get busy. Angel's up there. What are you guys doing? Laying eggs? No, eating stuff. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, there's always something to look at in here. It's just like this is like a tank that you could literally sit in front of for probably an hour and not get bored. And then do it again the next day and the next day and watch everybody progress and get bigger and bigger. Look at this guy just flexing on me. You gorgeous. Wait till he's an adult. Oh, my apologies. She. Damn, my bad. We got over here. Yeah, I figured the Severums would spend most of their time over on this side. Okay, anyways, that's enough of a video. We'll finish this up. Water will be clear, etc., etc. I think you guys are going to fall in love with it just as much as I am. Let's give it a little bit more time, though. Let me adjust these roots. You see how some of them are kind of like pointing up? I don't like that. I want them to come point down into the substrate. And these logs are a bit of a mess. I think I'm just going to reorganize slightly. I like this and this. I like it, but I think that dark log in the center there, that just got to move. Ultimately, though, I think it's gorgeous. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. See you guys in the next video.